Could the true origins of Europe be hidden within the ancient words of the Bible? Could the nations we know today trace their ancestry back to a prophecy spoken after the Great Flood? In the aftermath of the flood, humanity stood at a turning point. Three men, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, stood at the crossroads of history. To each was given a portion of the earth, and to Japheth, the eldest, was granted dominion over the vast lands of the north and west. His descendants became explorers, warriors, scholars, and empire builders, laying the very foundation of Western civilization. The Bible itself foretold their destiny. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem. Genesis, chapter 9, verse 27. From the wisdom of Greek philosophers to the seafaring Norse, from the mighty Roman legions to the rise of Slavic kingdoms, Japheth's children shaped history, developing languages, founding empires, and influencing the modern world. But what does Scripture truly reveal about their ancestry? How did their migrations and influence shape the civilizations that would dominate history? Join us as we uncover the biblical origins of the European peoples, a story told for generations but never fully understood. Before we begin, if you find this exploration meaningful, help us share this knowledge. Like this video to support our work, comment your thoughts to join the discussion, subscribe for more deep insights into biblical history, and share this journey with others who seek the truth. Now, let's embark on this extraordinary journey. The origin of Europeans according to the Bible. Japheth, the eldest son of Noah, was destined for a legacy of expansion, exploration, and innovation. While Shem's descendants shaped the Semitic world and Ham's lineage spread through Africa and Asia, Japheth's children embarked on a different path. They ventured into the uncharted, from the frozen fjords of Scandinavia to the rolling plains of Gaul, from the sunlit shores of the Mediterranean to the dense forests of Eastern Europe. Each step they took laid the foundation for civilizations that would endure the test of time. Noah's prophetic blessing, "May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem," Genesis chapter 9 verse 27, signified both physical expansion and a deeper spiritual connection. Japheth's children spread far and wide. Westward, they founded the Celtic and Germanic tribes. Northward, they became the Slavic, Baltic, and Norse peoples, renowned for their resilience and warrior ethos. Eastward, they influenced Central Asia's trade and culture. Southward, they shaped Mediterranean civilizations, including Greece and Rome. From the philosophical brilliance of the Greeks to the military might of Rome, from the fearless Celts to the legendary Norse explorers, Japheth's descendants shaped civilizations, law, and the course of history. Japheth's descendants also excelled in maritime trade, with the Phoenicians, Greeks, and later, the seafaring nations of Portugal, Spain, and Britain leading global commerce. Religiously, they eventually embraced Christianity, the faith of Shem, making it the spiritual cornerstone of Europe. From the Roman Catholic Church to the Protestant Reformation, their influence on theological discourse and missionary expansion shaped the religious and cultural identity of entire continents. Japheth's legacy is one of expansion and endurance, conquest and civilization, a fulfillment of Noah's ancient blessing, forever shaping the course of human history. From Japheth's lineage emerged 7 great patriarchs, each carrying the weight of a future civilization. Their descendants would carve kingdoms into the land, wage wars that shaped history, and lay the foundations of the world as we know it today. As their descendants spread across continents, they built kingdoms, waged wars, and pioneered the cultural, linguistic, and geopolitical frameworks that endure to this day. Gomer, Japheth's eldest, laid the groundwork for some of the most formidable European tribes. His descendants carved their paths across the northern and western reaches of Europe, from the icy landscapes of Scandinavia to the rolling emerald hills of Ireland. Through Ashkenaz the Gothic, Saxon and Frankish tribes rose to prominence, shaping the foundations of what would become the Germanic world. Riphath's lineage formed the heart of the Celts, whose fearless warriors and rich oral traditions dominated Gaul, Britain, and Iberia. Togarmah's descendants bridged east and west, influencing the rise of Turkic and Anatolian civilizations, powerful in trade and military conquest. Among Japheth's sons, Magog remains the most enigmatic. His name is woven into prophecy, linked to the fearsome horsemen of the north, the Scythians, Sarmatians, and later Slavic peoples. Their banners rose in the cold winds of the Eurasian steppes, their war cries echoing across the lands they conquered. Madai fathered the ancient Medes, an Indo-Iranian people who played a pivotal role in shaping the Persian Empire. Renowned for their governance, cultural influence, and military strength, the Medes left a lasting legacy in the regions now known as Iran and Central Asia. Javan, the ancestor of the Greeks and other Mediterranean peoples, settled along the Aegean and surrounding seas, giving rise to powerful maritime civilizations. Elisha, associated with the Ionian Greeks, played a crucial role in the cultural and intellectual developments of classical Greece. Tarshish, linked to the Iberians of Spain, was known for its vast wealth and extensive trade networks. Kittim became the forefather of the Cypriots and other early Mediterranean seafarers. Dodonim, connected to the Aegean and Ionian peoples, contributed to the growth of Mycenaean and early Greek societies. Tubal and Meshech spread their influence across Eastern Europe and beyond, with Tubal being linked to the Tibareni, an ancient Anatolian people, and Meshech often associated with the Muscovites of Russia. Their descendants shaped the early Slavic, Baltic, and Russian civilizations, leaving a lasting imprint on the region's culture and history. Tiras, the youngest of Japheth's sons, gave rise to the Thracians, a fierce warrior people of the Balkans, known for their military prowess and rich artistic traditions. The Thracians influenced Greek, Roman, and later Eastern European civilizations. Their martial culture and spiritual practices persisted for centuries, shaping the identity of the region. As these 7 sons spread across the lands, their descendants forged civilizations that would continue to grow and evolve for generations. From the towering fortresses of the Celts, to the philosophical brilliance of the Greeks, from the seafaring exploits of the Iberians, to the nomadic conquests of the steppe warriors, the children of Japheth shaped the world. Their legacy, embedded in the languages, cultures, and histories of vast continents, remains a testament to the prophecy that Japheth's descendants would be enlarged and spread across the earth. Among them, Gomer played a foundational role in shaping the Celtic and Germanic peoples, leaving a legacy that would span across northern and western Europe. Gomer, the eldest son of Japheth, laid the foundations for some of the most influential civilizations in Europe and beyond. His descendants spread across the northern lands, shaping languages, cultures, and societies that continue to leave an imprint on the modern world. Among his sons, Ashkenaz became the forefather of the Germanic peoples. His lineage migrated into Central and Northern Europe, forming the early Gothic, Frankish, Saxon, and Teutonic tribes, groups that played a pivotal role in shaping medieval Europe. Over time, they evolved into the German, Scandinavian, and Anglo-Saxon nations. The name Ashkenaz later became associated with the Jewish communities that settled in Germanic lands during the Middle Ages, leading to the term Ashkenazi Jews, who maintained distinct linguistic and cultural traditions within Europe. This historical interconnection reflects the deep ties between early Japhethite tribes and later Jewish diasporas. Riphath, another son of Gomer, is closely linked to the rise of the Celtic peoples, who expanded across Western Europe. Fiercely independent and deeply rooted in oral traditions, the Celts spread into Gaul, modern-day France, Britain, Ireland, and Spain, where they developed complex social structures, a warrior culture, and a mythology that defined pre-Roman Europe. They were among the first European civilizations to establish vast trade routes, refine metalworking, and cultivate an intricate Druidic religious system. The echoes of their influence persist in the languages, folklore, and traditions of modern Welsh, Irish, and Scottish cultures. Unlike his brothers, Togarmah's lineage extended eastward rather than into Europe. He is traditionally regarded as the ancestor of the Turkic and other nomadic steppe peoples, settling in regions from Anatolia to Central Asia. His descendants contributed to the rise of formidable cultures such as the Huns, Bulgars, Khazars, and later Turkic tribes. These nomadic warriors played a critical role in shaping Eurasian history, influencing both Eastern and Western civilizations through their conquests and vast trade networks. The Silk Road flourished in part due to their interactions, and their influence reached as far as the Byzantine Empire, eventually contributing to the rise of the Ottoman Empire. The descendants of Gomer spread across continents, leaving behind a legacy that shaped the course of history. Whether in the form of the warrior Celts, the exploratory Germanic tribes, or the nomadic steppe peoples, their contributions influenced the development of languages, traditions, and geopolitical structures that continue to define civilizations today. Among the sons of Japheth, Javan stood as the progenitor of the Greek-speaking peoples and other influential maritime civilizations. His name is closely associated with Ionia, an early Greek region that played a pivotal role in shaping the foundations of classical civilization. His descendants were master sailors, traders, and thinkers, spreading across the Mediterranean and establishing thriving centers of commerce, politics, and culture. Javan's 4 sons, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim, became the patriarchs of powerful seafaring nations, each leaving a lasting imprint on history. Elisha is often linked to the Ionian Greeks, one of the earliest Greek tribes that settled along the coasts of Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey, the Aegean Islands, and Cyprus. The Ionians were renowned for their advancements in philosophy, literature, and democratic principles, laying the intellectual groundwork for Western civilization. Cities like Miletus and Ephesus flourished under their influence, later producing great thinkers such as Thales and Heraclitus. Cyprus, also associated with Elisha, became a major trading hub due to its rich copper resources, further emphasizing the maritime expertise of Javan's lineage. Tarshish is often connected to a wealthy seafaring people, possibly the Tartessians of Iberia, modern-day Spain. Renowned for their gold, silver, and tin trade, they built extensive commercial networks across the Mediterranean, frequently interacting with the Phoenicians and Hebrews, as mentioned in the Old Testament. Some traditions also link Tarshish to the British Isles, a significant source of tin for ancient metalworking, suggesting that Javan's descendants influenced not only Greece and Spain, but also parts of Western Europe. Kittim is recognized as the forefather of the peoples of Cyprus and surrounding island nations. The ancient city of Kishon, modern Larnaca, Cyprus, derives its name from Kittim, underscoring his influence over early Mediterranean trade and culture. The Cypriots played a critical role in facilitating commerce and cultural exchanges between Greece, Phoenicia, and Egypt. In later biblical texts, the term Kittim was used to describe various maritime nations, including parts of Greece and Rome, solidifying Javan's role in shaping dominant civilizations. Dodanim, another of Javan's sons, is linked to the Aegean and Greek tribes, particularly those who contributed to the rise of the Mycenaean civilization. The Mycenaeans, famous for their warrior culture, advanced engineering, and legendary conflicts like the Trojan War, laid the foundation for classical Greek civilization. Their art, architecture, and military traditions later shaped powerful city-states such as Sparta and Athens, which would go on to influence much of the Western world. Through his descendants, Javan's influence extended across the Mediterranean, shaping civilizations that would define trade, governance, philosophy, and warfare for centuries. The legacy of classical Greece and Rome, built upon the foundations set by Javan's lineage, would stretch far beyond antiquity, influencing the cultural and intellectual evolution of Europe and beyond. Unlike his brothers, Madai's lineage did not primarily expand into Europe, but instead stretched eastward into Persia and Central Asia. As the ancestor of the Medes, an ancient Indo-Iranian people, Madai played a pivotal role in shaping the early history of the Middle East, bridging the civilizations of the West and East. Though not directly linked to European nations, his descendants significantly influenced governance, warfare, and culture across the ancient world. By the 9th century BCE, the Medes emerged as a formidable power in the Near East, consolidating scattered nomadic tribes into an organized kingdom. Settling in regions now known as Iran, northern Iraq, and eastern Turkey, they built cities, established trade routes, and engaged in diplomacy and warfare, marking the dawn of their historical influence. Under King Cyaxares in the 7th century BCE, the Medes played a decisive role in the fall of the Assyrian Empire, one of the most dominant powers of the ancient world. Their conquest of Nineveh, the Assyrian capital, alongside the Babylonians, reshaped the balance of power in the region, This victory established the Medes as a dominant force, laying the groundwork for their later union with the Persians, which would ultimately form one of the greatest empires in antiquity, the Achaemenid Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. The Median language, an early Indo-Iranian dialect, influenced the development of Old Persian, which became the administrative language of the Persian Empire. Madai's descendants also contributed significantly to Persian governance, military strategies, and religious traditions, shaping an empire that would rule vast territories across Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Although the Medes did not establish a direct European presence, they interacted extensively with other Japhethite peoples, including the Scythians, Thracians, and early Greeks. These interactions facilitated the exchange of military tactics, governance, and culture, influencing the development of later empires. Greek-Median relations, the Ionian Greeks who were under Persian rule, maintained strong ties with the Medes. Greek historians such as Herodotus documented their customs, administration, and governance, recognizing their impact on Greek thought and political structures. Scythian-Median relations, the Scythians, a fierce Indo-European nomadic people of the Eurasian steppe, shared common ancestry with the Medes. Through both warfare and trade, they influenced each other's military tactics and cultural practices, shaping regional power dynamics. Madai's people, though rooted in Persia, left an imprint that stretched beyond their own empire. Their governance, language, and traditions influenced rulers and warriors alike, echoing through the annals of history. But as Madai's descendants thrived in the east, another part of Japheth's lineage turned northward, Tubal and Meshech, the fathers of the Slavic and Baltic peoples. Among Japheth's sons, Tubal and Meshech played a pivotal role in the spread of his lineage into the vast, uncharted northern territories. Their descendants ventured into the regions that would later become Russia, Ukraine, and the Caucasus, marking the early Indo-European expansion into the dense forests and sweeping plains of Eastern Europe and the Eurasian steppe. Over time, their movements shaped the foundations of the Slavic, Baltic, and early Russian civilizations. Tubal is often associated with the Tibareni, an ancient people referenced by historians such as Herodotus and Strabo. They originally settled near the Black Sea, in what is now eastern Turkey and the Caucasus, but gradually migrated northward, intermingling with early Indo-European tribes. This interaction contributed to the formation of Slavic and Baltic cultures. Some theories also connect Tubal's name to Tobolsk, one of the oldest Siberian settlements, suggesting that his lineage extended even farther into Russia and Central Asia, aligning with the broader Indo-European migrations that gave rise to powerful nomadic confederations. Meshech, on the other hand, is traditionally linked to the Muscovites, the early Slavic people who later settled in the region of modern-day Moscow. Linguistic parallels between Meshech and Moscow hint at an ancestral connection, reinforcing the belief that his descendants played a role in shaping early Russian identity. Some scholars also identify Meshech with the Mostroi, an ancient tribe mentioned in Greek and Assyrian sources, who inhabited the Caucasus Mountains and engaged in early trade and warfare with civilizations in Mesopotamia and Anatolia. As they migrated northward, they contributed to the rise of Proto-Slavic and Proto-Baltic cultures, which would later evolve into the nations of Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and the Baltic states. The descendants of Tubal and Meshech interacted extensively with neighboring peoples, influencing and being influenced by the powerful nomadic tribes of the Eurasian steppe. These interactions played a defining role in shaping the military strategies, cultural identities, and trade networks of early Eastern Europe. Encounters with the Scythians and Sarmatians, the warrior tribes of the steppe, known for their horseback combat and nomadic resilience, frequently engaged with Tubal and Meshech's descendants, exchanging military tactics, trade goods, and cultural traditions. Foundation of Slavic and Baltic nations, as their settlements expanded, they laid the linguistic and cultural groundwork for what would later become the Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, and Lithuanian nations. Cultural and religious exchange. As they moved closer to the lands of Shem's descendants, these northern tribes came under the influence of Middle Eastern and Byzantine traditions, leading to the eventual Christianization of the Slavic world. The migration and influence of Tubal and Meshech's descendants were instrumental in shaping the cultural and historical landscape of Eastern Europe. Their legacy, embedded in the very fabric of Slavic and Baltic civilizations, continued to evolve through the centuries, leaving an enduring mark on the peoples and nations that now define the region. Tiras, the youngest son of Japheth, was the forefather of the Thracians, a fierce and enigmatic warrior people who inhabited the Balkans, spanning modern-day Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Turkey, and Serbia. The Thracians left a profound impact on early European civilizations, influencing the Greeks, Romans, and later Eastern European societies with their unique warrior culture, craftsmanship, and religious traditions. Ancient historians, including Herodotus, regarded the Thracians as one of the most numerous and formidable peoples of the ancient world. Though they never unified under a single ruler, their warriors were highly sought after as mercenaries in the armies of the Persians, Greeks, and Romans. Thracians were particularly skilled in horseback combat and light infantry warfare, wielding their signature curved swords known as the falx, which made them devastating opponents on the battlefield. Despite their reputation as warriors, the Thracians also possessed a rich and sophisticated culture, blending Indo-European traditions with local innovations. Their mastery of metalworking is evident in the exquisite gold and silver treasures unearthed from their burial mounds and tombs, which reveal an advanced artistic and spiritual heritage. The Thracian practice of placing weapons and armor in graves influenced later European burial customs, reflecting their belief in an afterlife where warriors would continue their battles. The Thracians were divided into numerous tribes, each with its own rulers and traditions. Among the most prominent were the Getae, known for their spiritual beliefs and deep reverence for Zalmoxis, a semi-mythical prophet and god figure. The Odrysians, the most powerful Thracian kingdom, which controlled vast areas of southeastern Europe. The Bessi, fierce warriors who served as priests of Dionysus, worshipping with elaborate rituals and ceremonies. The Greeks and Thracians shared close interactions through trade, warfare, and cultural exchanges, particularly along the Black Sea coast, where Greek colonies flourished. The Thracians influenced Greek mythology and religious practices, with Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, believed to have Thracian origins. Thracian warriors also played a role in the armies of Alexander the Great, helping to shape the military campaigns that led to the conquest of the Persian Empire. In time, Rome absorbed Thrace into its empire, but Thracian culture endured. Some of the greatest gladiators in Roman history, including the legendary Spartacus, were of Thracian descent. Spartacus's famous slave revolt 73 to 71 BCE against Rome became one of the most defining uprisings in history, showcasing the unyielding spirit of the Thracians. Though the Thracians were eventually assimilated into Roman, Slavic, and Byzantine cultures, their influence persisted in southeastern Europe. Today, archaeological sites across Bulgaria, Romania, and Greece reveal the lasting remnants of Thracian settlements, tombs, and artifacts. Their warrior ethos, artistic achievements, and religious traditions continue to shape the cultural identity of the region, offering insight into the profound legacy of Tiras and his descendants. One of the most profound legacies of Japheth's descendants is not carved in stone but spoken through time. The words of their ancestors echo in the tongues of billions, carried across empires and generations. The Proto-Indo-European language, spoken in the dawn of human civilization, fractured into distinct linguistic branches, each shaping the voice of nations. Greek, the language of Javan's lineage, became the bedrock of philosophy and governance, from Plato's dialogues to the democratic assemblies of Athens. Latin, forged in the halls of Rome, fathered the Romance languages: Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian, tongues that would carry the Roman legacy across continents. The Germanic tongues, born of Ashkenaz's people, produced the rich sagas of the Norse, the laws of the Saxons, and the English words spoken today. The Celts, descendants of Japheth, left behind Gaulish, Irish, and Welsh, preserving a culture of poetry and myth that still resonates in the folklore of Scotland and Ireland. The Slavic nations, shaped by Tubal and Meshech, crafted languages that would come to define Russia, Poland, Ukraine, and Serbia, The Indo-Iranian tongues, rooted in Madai's people, carried the wisdom of Sanskrit, the elegance of Persian, and the enduring script of Pashto and Kurdish. The early Aryan migrations carried Japhethite linguistic influence deep into South Asia, shaping classical Indian and Persian civilizations. Indo-European languages share deep linguistic ties, visible in words like father, Sanskrit pitar, Latin pater, Greek pater, and English father, all tracing back to a common ancestral tongue. This linguistic bridge underscores the widespread influence of Japheth's descendants. The linguistic link between Sanskrit and Latin, for example, highlights ancient interactions between European and Indian societies, a connection rooted in the Japhethite migrations. Today, nearly half of the world's population speaks an Indo-European language, underscoring the enduring impact of Japheth's descendants. Whether in science, literature, diplomacy, or global trade, the linguistic legacy of Japheth continues to shape the modern world, serving as a bridge between civilizations across continents. Japheth's descendants did not merely migrate, they forged civilizations. As they expanded across continents, they carried with them the blueprints of culture, innovation, and governance that would shape the world for millennia. They raised monuments not just of stone and marble but of thought and legacy, from the towering Parthenon of Greece to the sprawling Roman Colosseum, from the intricate metalwork of the Celts to the majestic cathedrals of medieval Europe. Their artistic and architectural prowess left an indelible mark on history. Their words echoed in Homer's epics, their myths lived on in Norse sagas, and their traditions endured in Slavic folklore. Yet they were not merely artisans, they were navigators and warriors. The Phoenicians and Greeks sailed uncharted waters, the Silk Road merchants bridged civilizations, and the Viking explorers expanded the known world. Their trade routes became arteries of commerce, pumping wealth, knowledge, and ideas across vast distances. In battle, the chariots of the Medes, the disciplined Roman legions, and the unyielding Spartan warriors ensured that their dominance was not only cultural, but military. Their intellectual legacy remains undeniable. From Plato and Aristotle, who shaped philosophy, to Newton and Galileo, who unraveled the mysteries of the universe, Japheth's descendants pursued knowledge with relentless fervor. Universities were founded, democratic institutions were established, and the age of exploration was set in motion, all from their insatiable quest for progress. Though once bound to pagan traditions, they ultimately embraced the faith of Shem, Christianity. From monasteries that safeguarded knowledge to churches that spread faith, Japheth's people carried biblical teachings across the world, cementing a spiritual and cultural foundation that endures to this day. Even now, their influence is woven into our world, in the words we speak, the ideas we embrace, the laws we uphold, and the beliefs that guide millions. From ancient warriors to great thinkers and leaders, their story is one of endurance, resilience, and transformation. But this is not just history. This is our heritage. What do you think of Japheth's legacy? Which of his descendants do you find the most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. If this journey through history gave you a new perspective, help us share this knowledge by liking this video, so more people can discover this untold story, subscribing to explore more biblical and historical mysteries, sharing this with others, because the past holds truths that deserve to be known. Our journey through history doesn't end here, it continues with you. Share this knowledge, spark discussions, and help keep history alive for generations to come. Thank you for being part of this journey. Your support, engagement, and curiosity make it all possible. Whether you've been with us from the beginning or are just joining now, we appreciate each and every one of you. Keep seeking, questioning, and discovering, because the past still speaks. What part of Japheth's legacy fascinates you the most? Drop a comment below